Hello everyone, and I do apologize for not making any video recently. I was away this recent weekend, but after that time, I got to see 3 movies, which I didn't get to review, which I'm just going to comment into this video, which is probably going to be less than, 12-13 minutes, probably? And those 3 movies are Detroit, Annabelle Creation, and The Hitman's Bodyguard. I'm just going to give you, like 3-4 minutes in each movie at least. And, I'm not going to waste any further time and just jump right into my first movie, which is my favorite of the 3, which is Detroit. Detroit is directed by Catherine Bigelow, and it stars Anthony Mackie and Will Poulter and John Boyega, and it focuses on like the Detroit riots back in the 60s, but mainly focuses on this hotel area where part of these shootings started, and it's actually been like a catalyst for many of these things to begin at the time. And this is like a very politically charged, hard-edged thriller that's extremely tense. And of course, like with this video as a whole, I'm not going to give you much of a story about each of these movies. I'm thinking of just not doing that at all with my videos, actually. Just jump right into what I thought of it. And Detroit is definitely one of the most tense, powerful, and riveting films I've seen all year. And really what makes it one of the best. And I would say one of the best movies of the year, but it's not like one of my favorites, because these aren't really my personal favorite movies, because they're like so hard-edged, so brutal, the more Oscar bait type of movies. Even though this movie isn't truly Oscar bait, but it definitely going to be contended once it comes around, because there's some powerful things in this movie. There's no denying that. And there's no denying the guilt, the shame, the sorrow, and the agony of the historical racial profiling and the tragedy of what happens here and within Detroit as a whole has happened. There's so much things going off with today and how that's to deal with it. And it's a really powerful film that hits like a brick wall. All performances by everyone was incredible. John Boyega, all these other, John Boyega, Anthony Mackie, Will Poulter, oh my god. I just remember Will Poulter from like Word of Millers and The Maze Runner, and to see him like to come from those movies to this and The Revenant is like a big jump, and he's a really talented actor, and he plays this truly despicable, horrible guy who is like forcing these men at gunpoint to keep them hostile in there, and you can just feel the intensity and the riveting action. The powerful magnetic approach and directing by Catherine Bigelow is really powerful and seriously good. When it comes to Catherine Bigelow's films, I've always loved the sense of intensity and realism it brings. I really enjoy Hurt Locker. I don't love it as much as everyone does, but I do thoroughly enjoy it. This film probably falls between Hurt Locker and 0 Dark 30. Like this movie overall for me, I really did really enjoy this movie. And it's a really powerful, great film. But I love the hell out of 0 Dark 30, and I love that movie. I thought it was such a great movie. And how it makes certain smaller scenes feel so much grander and important. This movie kind of fails in certain regards, because it doesn't take as much as time to really take it slow. Like, this movie is tense, but at times it feels so tense and dreary that I kind of can feel dragged out of parts. And it does kind of feel like it overstays its welcome by the end. Like, the movie, like, my big thing with this movie is that it feels long. There's a couple of moments where I will say, I'm like, you really need that? The opening animation, I'm like, where in the hell did that come from? Why is this there? It really doesn't fit the tone or the mood of the movie at all. It just really comes out of left field, even though it's right at the beginning of the film. It's very weird. And this movie, essentially, due to my own personal taste in movies, this movie does ultimately lack my biggest gripe with movies, and that is replayability, rewatchability. I like movies I can watch over and over again where I can find a fascination with them, and yet a certain lighthearted funness to them. This movie is not lighthearted at all. It's not. And it's a dark, and there's no denying that. If you like this movie or not, there's no denying it's a powerful film that can knock you flat out cold. It's easily easily one of the most powerful films of the year. I would say on top with like Dunkirk and Logan of being just emotionally grasping and powerful. But it does lack, in my view, the ultimate, I won't say sin, but it's like, excuse me, the ultimate thing that could be a deal breaker for me with movies is, do I see myself watching this movie again? And that is no. And now you can ultimately say, sometimes those films could be ultimately better than the ones you can watch them over again. The ones I can stay with you more and more. But it's like by the end, I'm like, yeah, but I just won't see myself coming back to this. And that for me is a huge factor. I just don't see myself watching this movie again. However, it's easily going to have a big effect on me after watching this, with my personality probably being changed a little bit. But overall, I thought Detroit itself was a really powerful movie, very moving, grasping, but it does ultimately lack replayability, and it is a bit long and dreary at times. I'm going to give Detroit an 84%, an 85%. That's my rating for Detroit. Of these three movies on this video, this is easily my favorite of the three. My second movie is Annabelle Creation. The Annabelle movie itself, which is based in the Conjuring universe. Like, love the Conjuring 1. I thought the Conjuring 2 from last year was pretty good. The first Annabelle movie was absolute crap. So what makes this an actual decent follow-up? I thought, for me at least, the setup itself was really interesting. I thought the environment itself on this one house surrounded by fields, a sense of isolation, a sense of a bunch of these kids who are being led by nuns, and they're out in this house who's owned by this family who has suffered a great personal tragedy in the past. I really can feel like such an emotionally volatile and powerful moment for them. And you can see that, you can sense it in the movie. It really is effective for its own sake. The acting for the most part was everyone has been from the nuns to the parent to the married couple to the kids. They're all really good. The atmosphere, which is key to any horror movie, is on point. It feels dark, tense, and atmospheric, and it feels very claustrophobic and closed in. Parts of this movie kind of feels like Signs, but I do not like Signs at all. That's just me. But overall, I thought Annabelle Creation was a really good movie. It has plenty of good atmosphere, great acting, and some really good scares. But it does ultimately feel in the end kind of generic at times. Its overall sense of plot and overall sense of how much it's going to be reinvigorate the genre itself. It's like, listen to me, I wouldn't say it's serviceable, but it's fairly decent. It's actually a decently good movie, and I thought it was actually a really good follow-up for what was a really bad movie of the first Annabelle. Who knew? I actually thought Annabelle Creation was surprisingly decent. I'm going to give Annabelle Creation a 70%. And now my third and last movie, which is my least favorite of the three, because it has probably my two favorite actors of all the movies, is Hitman's Bodyguard. And this movie has Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, and Samuel L. Jackson is this kind of like this retired I wouldn't say hip boss or something like that, but he's kind of like so the story is like this: world's top protection agent is called upon. It was mortal enemy who's played by Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds needs to protect Samuel L. Jackson from these drug guys that. And they're all like trying to outrun these merciless Eastern European people who's like, I don't know, the story's just kind of stupid, to be honest. And this movie in itself, it's just kind of a dumb, overall kind of serviceable movie with some decent action, fairly good jokes. The chemistry, I thought, for the most part, was actually decent between these two actors. Like, from the trailers, I'm like, it's clearly, they're not like clearly, it's like the clearly not trying to trying to get it their all, but it's like you can tell they're having fun. You can tell they're genuinely. It feels like quite like a good type of essential escapism movie. A part of it kind of reminds me of the movie Two Guns that came out in 2013 with Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. And their duo kind of reminds me of Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds in this movie. What I don't like about this movie is that it does feel really generic. The story itself is really nothing new. A good majority of the jokes do work, but a good majority of the jokes don't work. And I thought, like, it just had this really predictable storyline that I kind of like, literally, by some point in the movie, it's like, you get a sense for what the main villain of this movie is trying to do. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I know what the story's going to lead towards now, and I know what the finale is going to feel like. And it really does feel like nothing new, and it ultimately just kind of, like, feels just kind of meh, serviceable as it is. And it's like, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's certainly not great. It's not good by any means. My enjoyment of Hitman's Bodyguard is my overall enjoyment of this movie could just be summed up as this. Meh. It's just a meh film to me. It's like a 55%. It's fairly decent for what it is. I don't think it's as bad as everyone's saying as it is. Oh, excuse me, I needed a burp. But as a whole, I still thought it was fairly fun. As a whole, it really is nothing special, but I enjoy the action. I like these two actors together. If only they had a better script and story. And that's really it. And in the end of everyone, that's my 3 movies that I saw recently in the last 2 weeks. I do apologize for the lack of reviews. I'm hoping to see Logan Lucky this weekend. I really want to see that. I also really want to see Wind River as well. That looks really interesting. And yeah, as always, everyone, thank you very much for watching. More videos on the way as always. And until then, thank you very much for watching. And I just hit my finger because that actually hurt. Till then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the future for more videos as always. Till then, bye-bye, and have a great day.